my gosh, I was about to say yes, unironically. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, and Colourpop has disappointed me again. So they are releasing this palette that is in collaboration with Hello Kitty, and it's very winter themed. Honestly, the color story, it's beautiful. I love it. Totally my tones. And I just have qualms with everything else. But before that, welcome to another episode of Duping New Palettes with what I already own. Now, this palette was way too easy to dupe, and that's because I have a previous palette that Colourpop released, and that's the Sailor Moon Pretty Guardian collaboration palette. And as you can see, I poked out 5 of these shades because 5 out of the 9 were from here, and I put them in my little homemade palette. This palette is kind of very familiar to me. Well, firstly, obviously it did remind me of the Sailor Moon one because all of the shades are from there. But other than that, it sort of reminded me of the Huda Beauty Nude Obsessions palettes. So like a similar color story with the pink and the purple and a little bit of that peachiness. And I also saw Makeup by Train's video recently saying that it looks so similar to the Kylie Stormy palette, which I didn't even know existed, but it exists, and it really does look very similar. In the year of 2020, it's very difficult to come out with a brand new color story. I understand that. So a lot of this palette is going to be like branding and marketing and whatnot, which is why they were very smart, Colourpop as they were very smart to collab with Hello Kitty. It's very nostalgic for a lot of people, especially their Asian American makeup loving community who were into stationery or anything Sanrio growing up. I don't really see the Hello Kitty in this color story. I understand it's extremely niched and specific for holiday pastel Hello Kitty kind of vibes, but I mean, I would have really looked forward to a Hello Kitty collab if it was true to the colors of basic Hello Kitty. So I'm thinking like navy, a bright yellow, bright blue, red, pink for the My Melody character, and black. There has to be. Okay, well, I understand if there's not a black, but how could there not be a red? Like a red. Also, the shade names of this palette are very wintry, but I didn't really seem like they were related to Hello Kitty at all. Things like Fuzzy Mittens, Cuddle Weather, Winterful, Ice Skates, Burr, Snow Globe, On Chill, Snowwear, and Igloo Blues. Those are just winter words you're throwing on here, and then you're adding the name of Hello Kitty for marketing. Do what you gotta do, Colourpop, but I'm not falling for it here today. Before I keep talking, let me show you swatch comparisons of this palette. The swatches of all the shades together, gorgeous, lovely color story. I've been super into purples with oranges and pastels. It's really gorgeous, I can't deny. And then the swatches compared to the original shades from Makeup by Train's video. Again, it'll be linked in my description box if you want to watch hers. I recommend you do. Before I move on to the overhead footage of me picking these shades, I want to say another big pet peeve I have, a big qualm I have. The Snow Witch Fun palette has square pans. Recently, Colourpop has been coming out with these square pans, and there seems to be no rhyme or reason as for which palettes have the square pans and which palettes have the round pans. I feel like I'm being too salty. I feel like I might be the only one with this opinion. We'll see when all the other videos come out about this palette, but let's get into the overhead footage. Finally! Hello! So to begin, I have these palettes pulled out, the Huda Nude Light Obsessions, the Colourpop Pretty Guardian palette, RawBeautyKristi Colourpop At Forest Sight, and just a bunch of singles I have from Colourpop and some from Sydney Grace. And I'm going to kind of build the palette as we go in my little 9-pan Tarte Magnetic palette. So let's look at that first shade. It's called Fuzzy Mittens, and it looks like it's like a pink to gold, maybe a little bit pink to gold green duochrome. So first option or possibility for that is within my Huda Nude. There's this pink to gold duochrome. Let me zoom y'all in so you can see swatches a little better. And there is what that shade looks like. Ooh. Yeah, there's that first option. Another shade I had in mind was from my Sailor Moon palette, this shade called Silver Crystal. Ooh, it's a little flaky. So there's what, whoa, flaky, flaky. There's what the silver crystal looks like. It's a little too light, I think. Well, this is the Sydney Grace shadow in the shade The Greatest Gift. And it has more of that green reflect than a gold reflect. So there's Sydney Grace The Greatest Gift. It was a little too purple. Yeah. Let me pull into some more single shadows. Here I have my JD Glow shadows. So let's swatch Opal and Sin. I have a suspicion that Sin is going to be a little bit too pink. There is Opal, ooh, and Sin. Okay, so here are some of the options that I pulled out. Which one resembles the Hello Kitty one the most? I actually think, looking at the swatches, I might pick Silver Crystal from Pretty Guardian, which was the second swatch if I just build it up. It's a similar level of depth, I think, as the Hello Kitty one. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Silver Crystal. So let's pop her out and put her in. Shade number 1. The next shade is Cuddle Weather, which is a lilac shade. And for that, I already think I know what I'm gonna pick. I have Sydney Grace's Mythical here, and it is just a gorgeous lilac. So here's a swatch of Mythical. Wow. Well, looking at this shade, it is richer and deeper than Cuddle Weather looks to be. It looks to be very light and maybe a little bit more pink than this shade. So let's swatch Howlin' or Yowlin'. This is Prowlin' from Colourpop. So here is Prowlin', very different kind of shade, but maybe a little bit closer to what we're looking for. There is also a lavender shade within the Sailor Moon palette called Luna. Ooh, that might be it. And here is Luna. Wow, Luna really is the closest out of those 3. How interesting, the first 2 are from the Sailor Moon palette. The third shade, Winterful, is like a very girly pink shade with a bit of a gold reflect. Oh man, I just erased all of those swatches, but I think a lot of the options will be similar to my first pick. Ugh, okay fine, let's swatch them again. I actually think that this one is going to be Sydney Grace The Greatest Gift. So there's what that one looks like. Well, maybe that still is a little bit too purple. Maybe instead it will be Sin from JD Glow. Ooh. I like the JD Glow one better, so let's add that to be my third shade, this massive pan. So look at how much bigger it is compared to the Colourpop ones. That is, oh my gosh, the comparison. Next is the shade Ice Skates, which is like an orange, but it's a pastel slash almost neon leaning sherbet orange color. And I had a specific shade in mind looking for this one. It's actually a very unique kind of orange, but I do have one that kind of fits that description in my Sailor Moon palette again, and it's Twilight Flash. This looks very pastel in the pan, but then when you swatch it out, it's very surprisingly bright. So that's the shade I'm going to pick for Ice Skates. Wow, man, that's a cute shade. So 3 out of the 4 shades we found so far are within my Pretty Guardian palette, and I also anticipate that we're gonna find at least 2 more from here, but y'all will see that as we go along. The 5th shade is called Burr Baby. It's like this is a lilac. So I have some options. I don't know, this looks a little bit too cool toned from my Huda Beauty Light Obsessions palette. It's a little like not pink enough. Yeah, it's a little too, okay, we'll see. We'll see. Other option is my Colourpop single in the shade Howlin', which is also a cool toned version of purple. I'm kind of confused looking at the Colourpop official swatches and official images because they're so color corrected and edited. I can't tell what the palette really looks like. It's not exact, but I think it's more similar to Burr Baby. So my 5th shade is Howlin' from Colourpop. Moving along onto our 6th shade, Snow Globe, which is like a little bit of a coral but more neutral than that. So I'm gonna swatch some pink toned neutrals and see how I like that. So first I have in the At Forest Sight palette, Old Growth, which is maybe my favorite shade. Second favorite shade in this whole palette. My arm's a little wet because I just used my cellar water, so the swatches might be a little weird. So there's Old Growth. Let's also try my single in the shade Labyrinth. So here is Labyrinth. Oh yeah, that's a little more pink, a little bit more what we're looking for. Okay. And then also in the Sailor Moon palette, I have this shade called Moon Castle. Oh, I'm getting flakes everywhere. I also have my Alter Ego Daydream palette, and within this palette, maybe a shade like none of these. No, maybe this one. Sunkissed. A little bit too purple for what I'm looking for. I actually think the closest one is again from the Sailor Moon palette. What? Wow, 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 wow. So my fifth or sixth shade actually, dang, all of these little ones that I pulled from any palettes are from the Colourpop, or from the Sailor Moon Pretty Guardian palette. Also, you can see my Pikachu shirt that I'm wearing while filming this. Very interesting Colourpop. The seventh shade is called On Chill, and it looks to be just like a plain neutral matte. Yeah, with a little bit of pink in there. Okay. This one actually cannot pull from the shades that are left in this palette. Let's look in this one. No, Puffball is a little too yellow and a little too warm for what I'm looking for, so I don't like any of these. Oh, actually, the perfect shade is Wake Up Call, which is my Colourpop single. It's neutral, but not very yellow, not very cool, more pink. Ooh, yes. Oh, yes, 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 yes. That's what I want. Perfect. Add it to my baby, my fake counterfeit baby. Yes. The next shade is Snowwear, which is a rich, rich berry matte with the glitters in it, which I hate. So I'm just gonna look for a matte. I think I'm drawn to this color, and let's see how that swatches. Ooh. Okay, I think that is a good contender. This is the shade Tinsel Town. Oh, maybe that was a limited edition holiday one. I'll also swatch this shade, which is Facet. I think it's a little too neutral though. Yeah, it's more brown. And I also have Sleeper here. So there's Sleeper, more purple. I also wanted to take a look inside my At Forest Sight palette and swatch Amanita. Ooh, ooh, okay, is that what I'm looking for? Yeah, that's it. That's the shade. I'm adding this one. Shade 8 out of 9. We're almost there, y'all. Just one more. The last shade is Igloo Blues, which is like a bright pink. And I have the perfect shade for this. Just upon first glance, I knew it would be this shade. It's Love from the Surprise Sailor Moon and Pretty Guardian palette. Ooh, and this one even has that sparkle that the original in the Hello Kitty is supposed to have. I'll build it up just so we can see like the depth of it if you layer it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I was about to say yes, unironically. Oh my gosh, the overlap between these palettes is inexcusable. But there's the last shade. Wow. And there is, oh my gosh, this JD Glow shade is so ridiculously large. But here is my homemade version of the Hello Kitty palette, whatever it's gonna be called. Now let me just give you arm swatches of all of these. Wow, and there y'all have that palette. Isn't it gorgeous and nearly identical? And pulled mostly from one single other Colourpop eyeshadow palette. Yes. Did I just say yes again? Someone stop me. Well, there are the shades, and now let's go back to my face. I'll show you how I made my eye look. For my eye look today, I first set Twilight Flash all over my lid as my transition and base tone. I tapped the shade Luna from the Pretty Guardian palette on the outer half of my upper lid with my ring finger. With the same finger, I tapped into Sin from JD Glow, which is one of their Galaxy shadows, and I tapped that on the inner half of my eyelid. I also dragged this JD Glow Sin shade along my lower lash line to really brighten up my eyes. For my lower lash line, I took the shade Love from the Pretty Guardian palette on the outer half of my lower lash line where I didn't tap JD Glow Sin earlier. And then last part of the shadow look, with a smudge brush, I took Amanita from the RawBeautyKristi Colourpop At Forest Sight palette and outlined my eyes with that. I winged it out a bit too to really pull out my eyes to give it a nice shape. And then I just threw on some mascara. No falsies today, I cannot be bothered, and here is my final look. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I love filming these. They're a lot of work, but I mean, they're the most fun. We love talking ourselves out of buying things in this household. I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on this palette and this release. Am I the only one bothered by the name Hello Kitty on this palette though? They just took the lovable, nostalgic character and dressed them up in the colors they wanted, kind of, to make it work for this collaboration. I don't know. I'm cynical. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day today. Y'all are my treasure. And remember to find the beauty in every day, but most importantly, be kind to yourselves. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!